Hello everyone and welcome back to Dark Souls 1. This is going to be our, I believe, 7th single weapon class run, which this time it's going to be axes. And if you remember, at the end of our previous run, being curved greatswords, I mentioned using a random number generator to figure out how to do these, and axes is what I came up with. So the previous run was very... It was very weird, but it was a very good run. And so immediately after that, I jumped right into this. Because I could not get enough. Which, in most of the previous runs, I have a rule of beating every single boss with a weapon from whatever weapon class I'm doing, which normally I have to skip the tutorial boss, but this time I won't have to because the bandit and the pyromancer both start out with an axe. And I wanted to start out with the pyromancer because it has a weapon that I prefer, because I much prefer the hand axe over the battle axe. But this run, I use a different armor set and shield every run, along with a different weapon class, which for this run I was going to use the bandit set and the spider shield. So even though I don't like the weapon as much, it is better for us to go with this class. And then grab the master key because it'll really help us out. And then we head on off to the tutorial boss, which I read this note because I don't remember ever reading it before. Which, get away, yeah. And we head off because we don't have the weapons to deal with the Asylum Demon just yet. So we pick up our shield, and I really want to stay in the light load. So I was rolling just to make sure that bringing on this extra weight allowed me to stay in the light load, which the axe, the shield, and the armor didn't. So I take that off, and okay, if I can drop 3, then I can light load, which that's 1.2, not enough, and that's 1.8, combined, making 3. So I might have to move some equipment around, because in the normal areas, shield is more important, but in bosses, armor tends to be more important. So once we get to the boss and we take off the shield and put on the armor, we're ready to head on in. And with that being said, I will let this fight play itself out. What can I say? It's the tutorial boss. It's gonna be pretty easy. But, hey, it's a free, easy 2K. And we beat them with the battle axe, the brigand set, and 0 sips of the Estus flask. And we beat them at level 4 with 12 vitality, 14 endurance, 14 strength, 9 dexterity, 11 resistance. And we beat them first try. And with that, we are free to head off straight to Firelink Shrine. And while heading off to Undead Burg and killing this rat, I realized the heavy attack is an overhead swing, which is very nice for these small, tight corridors, which I don't think every axe is going to have that, which that's why it's a good idea to try out every weapon in the weapon class, because there are these small little differences that only using one weapon in the weapon class, like I did last time, you just don't get in, you just don't get that information like that. But I decided, because of how weird the gameplay was last time, because of the weapon class and the rules that I used, I decided to take a very much traditional way of fighting, of just shield up, block, take a swing, move on.
Well, you seem
And we talk to this guy, and I do a quick peruse of his stock, because I didn't really prepare for this like I normally do. So I knew he had something, but I wasn't sure what until I saw the hand axe. Which, like I said, I wanted to pick Pyromancer because it starts with the hand axe. And now we got it.
Thank you kindly.
So thankfully we didn't have to wait too long. Now here, I was looking, and the weight goes from 4 to 2. So we save 2 weight, but we lose like 17 or so damage. Like 15 or so. But because of the lighter weight, and because of a few points we put into endurance, we could put on the armor set. And here, I was just checking the range, which Battle Axe has some more range, but being able to have the full armor set on was worth it. And that was a much faster swing, which is a good sign. And you also take a step forward when swinging, which can maybe offset some of the range. And here I wanted to look at this to see the difference in swing speed, which, as you can see, the Battle Axe has a bit of a punishment for swinging and missing, whereas the hand axe doesn't. And this is just like a 1, 1, 1, whereas this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it swings like a combo. It's a lot like straight swords, where one swing leads into the next, which leads into the next, which leads into the next, which the Battle Axe doesn't have. And so because of that, the hand axe will be a lot better for stringing together combos, along with having a lower punishment for missing, which we don't miss too much, but good to have. And then, while running back, I realized something. The heavy attack for the hand axe isn't a vertical swing, it's a horizontal swing. So in those tight corridors, you don't get that advantage with the hand axe. Now, the two-handed light attack is a bit better, but still not quite the same. But again, it being lighter, it being faster, it having like a combo, and just it looking better was all worth those few trade-offs for me. But we popped some souls and went to go level up. And here, I decided to be sneaky, but this is Dark Souls 1, which has... It's a very polished game, as you can see. So we had to jog to get up, which sadly got the attention of the enemies. So no sneaking for us. Which, a little unfortunate, but it worked out. This is why I say I want a full-on Dark Souls 1 remake, like Demon Souls got. Not for the visuals, because the visuals with this are completely fine for me. It's just to polish up some hitboxes like that. But, coming up here, he can die. And then we open the master key, or open that door with the master key, to go and get ourselves some gold pine resin to hopefully make up for some of the lack of damage that the hand axe has. Because Tauros Demon is coming up, and we need damage. And coming through here, we decide to aggro the Black Knight, which, yeah, they're very difficult compared to the rest of the area. But again, this was my 7th run, And I'd been farming these guys in some of the previous runs, either for souls or upgrade materials or just to learn how to parry. So I was very confident fighting them, even at a very low level. And what I figured out quickly was, if you backstab and then just walk backwards, they really like to do this running thrust attack, which you can just lock on and move along their shield side, and you can very easily get around them for another backstab. Now, they don't always do that attack, and if they do a different attack, you can just roll backwards very easy. And if you aren't comfortable walking around the side, you can hold your shield up, which I was doing here, just as like a precautionary measure, because it's better to be safe than dead. So, but very surprisingly easy to trivialize these guys, which is kind of weird, but hey, an easy 800 souls, which is very useful, a very good sword that we can't use, and a very good Titanite chunk that we can't use yet. We will later, but not yet. But more importantly, it gives us access to the blue tier stone ring, which rings in this game have no weight, and we don't have any other rings for it to compete with, so there's just no reason not to have it on. And so we do. And then we head off to the Tauros Demon. But first, these guys. Which, these things are very weird to me, because in this game, it seems like they don't drop the same item every time. It seems like they drop different items almost every run. I don't know if it's supposed to be like that, but I don't think it's like that in later games. But 2 large Titanite shards, very nice. And before we're aggroing the boss, we come up here, because good to take out these 2 enemies. I mean, you don't want to fight a boss and 2 enemies. You don't want to be shot in the back while trying to fight a demon. And so, these are basic enemies. They're very easy to take out. On their own, you don't have to worry about them. Now, take note that I'm coming in here with 9 Estus flasks. But we move forward, we pop the gold pine resin, and I will let this fight play itself out. Not quite the 1,000 damage we did last run, but still easy go around. If you want to see that Curved Greatsword run part 1, it was really funny. But this time around we beat him with the hand axe, the spider shield, which we didn't use, the brigand set, the blue tier stone ring, 0 sips to the Estus flask because we came in with 9, and a gold pine resin. And we beat them at level 10 with 12 vitality, 20 endurance, 14 strength, 9 dexterity, 11 resistance. And we beat them first try. And coming into this boar encounter, I decided to do something a little different, which was going up the side here and jumping up top. Because why not? And then pull this to not have the boar chase us, which 3 enemies, and it took 4 swings to kill each one of these guys, which was a little unfortunate, but with lots of running in circles, we were able to get it done. And then we were able to pick up the basement key, which will be useful for later. And going around and into this room, we decided to trigger that and then fight the Sparanite Knight, which, phenomenal AI, by the way. Like I said, I really want this game to get a full remake, just to polish up some stuff like this. Because walking around one side of an enemy is kinda busted in this game. Like, it's wild how strong it is. Just like how it's wild to me that in my first run, I was terrified of these guys. Now I just run circles around them. But 800 souls and a Titanite shard, very nice. Along with being able to pick up the Firekeeper soul. Which I was going to go up to Andre, but I decided to take out the guy up there first, just so I wouldn't forget and then get shot in the back. Which, after going up there and taking out all the enemies, we decided to employ the same exact tactic of move around the less dangerous side. I mean, what can I say? It works really, really well. It shouldn't work this well, but it does. And if that method doesn't work, don't worry, there's a second method. It's called parrying. It's also very good. And a lot easier in this game, for some reason. But after that, we head on over to Andre, because we got not only the Titanite shard from the Baronite Knight, but we also got one from a normal, just Balder Knight. So we had an option for 2 upgrades, which our damage wasn't great, and so I wanted to put them both into the hand axe. Which, looking at this, 8 base damage, 2 additional, so that's 10 damage on paper. And then same thing, 8 base, 2 additional, so another 10 damage on paper. And with that, we couldn't do anything else. I mean, there was some stuff we wanted to buy. Like, we wanted to buy Titanite shards, but we didn't have the souls for it. We wanted to buy the Crest of Artorias, but that's for later. And the repair box, but we don't need that yet. And the battle axe. So if we started out as the Pyromancer to have the hand axe, then instead of buying that from the Undead Merchant, we would have bought the battle axe from Andre. Now, because last run with curved greatswords was so weird and unconventional for us gameplay wise, I decided to play this run very conventionally gameplay wise, but I still wanted to mix it up, so I decided to go in a very unconventional like pathing for this run compared to what I normally do. So we decided to come here, since we normally do this a bit later, which now I kind of see why I normally do this later. I mean, obviously we only have a +2 weapon, but that was like 8 or 9 swings. That's a lot of swings to take out one basic enemy. And we only get 3 swings two-handed, and it takes 4 to kill, so not the best, but we'll make do. And going around the side, we have to take out this enemy in order to get ourselves the Wolf Ring, which our low damage compared with their high health led to a lot of just a lot of swings. though they're fairly easy. So with passable stamina management, we were able to take them down and get ourselves the wolf ring, which we kind of need because this bulky armor for some reason gives us 0 poise, so the wolf ring will help a lot. But despite my better judgment, I decided to go after the boss now. So take note that we're coming in with 4 Estus flasks. And having said that, I will let this fight play itself out. Wow. Okay. I don't think I've ever been 1% as stressed as that during any of the previous Moonlight Butterfly runs. But, hey, we got the 10k. Which... Oh, wow. Coming into this fight with a +2 hand axe at level 18 was not the best of decisions. We could have chose better. I mean, we won, but that was like a 7-minute fight or something. I mean, it wasn't as bad as the 15-minute fight with Priscilla, but anyways, we beat him with the hand axe +2, spider shield, brigand set, wolf ring, blue tear stone ring, 4 sips of the Estus flask, because remember, we came in with 4, and 3 humanity. Just to have a bit of extra healing. Which we popped that, and we beat him at level 18 with 17 vitality, 20 endurance, 17 strength, 9 dexterity, 11 resistance, and we beat him first try. And with that, we were free to head on back. Which, at this point, I figured we had 3 options. Option 1 was to go to the lower Undead Burg. Option 2 was to upgrade our weapon. Or option 3 was to head on off down into Blighttown. Which, I was thinking about it, and I ran down to sit at the bonfire to get the 10 Estus back, just to help us in our next endeavor, and I decided to go with the hardest option here, which was partially to upgrade the hand axe to +5, which by itself not the hardest thing, but it was to help us make the next thing a little easier. Which here I decided to look at the shield, which the wooden shield compared to the spider shield has better magic, lightning, and weight, but worse physical fire and stability. So, compared to the spider shield, it's got some upsides, got some downsides. Hollow shield, better for lightning, worse for fire and weight, so not as good, but still, it's got its thing. But the night shield is just worst all around. Worse fire, worse lightning, worse weight. The only thing better about the night shield is the look, which, at the very bottom, has resistance to poison. So I thought, oh, the spider shield has resistance to poison. I didn't know that, so we looked. And 88 poison resist, so we moved that, still 88. So we decided to take it off, still 88. So I don't know what it means by extra poison resist. I don't know what it's talking about. But this is the 4th and hardest decision. Because Stray Demon, like I said, very traditional in terms of how we do the combat, but we decided to mix it up for the timing, or like the pathing. But having said that, I will let this fight play itself out. So, obviously, we were a little understated for this. We didn't have the damage, really, but it's a fundamentally easy boss, so it went down without too much trouble. And we got a Titanite slab and 20k out of it, so hey. Again, this is just how this run is going to go. At least part of it. Not all of it, just part of it. But we beat him with the hand axe plus 5, which the spider shield, even though we didn't really use it. The brigand set, the wolf ring, the blue tear stone ring, and 0 sips the Estus flask, unless you count the one at the beginning from the fall damage, which, yeah, I'll count it. It's intentional. 1 Estus. And we beat them at level 24 with 20 vitality, 20 endurance, 20 strength, 9 dexterity, 11 resistance, and we beat them first try. And normally, I would just cut to the next part after saying beat him first try. But this was a little nonsense, a little funny. So we pick up the peculiar doll to head to the painted world of Ariamis. And this guy really decided that we were not going to leave this place alive. He was really protecting the door here. But, as I said before, I spent a lot of time killing these guys. And they were the main enemy in the killing of the first flame that I used to practice parrying. And so I got really, really good at parrying them. And so it doesn't matter how low our stats are compared to where they should be for fighting this guy, because it's not about stats. Parrying is about timing. Now, he could have gotten out of the way. He chose not to. He chose to die. Moving on. And we pick up the Rusted Iron Ring because it's going to be really helpful for helping us get through Blighttown. Which, Blighttown is going to be its whole own thing. But, hey, we'll get there when we get there. For now, we decided to drop some rubbish to the bird Pickle Pea, I think they're called. Because dropping rubbish gets you a Titanite chunk. Which, not useful right now, but we're here, we've gotten everything here, so there's no reason to come back. Outside of later for the Ring of Fog. But with that, we can head on off to the next boss. The Bell Gargoyles, which we took a sip before going in, so take note that we're coming in with 9 Estus. And with that, I will let this much shorter fight play itself out. And with that, the Bell Gargoyles go down. Which, in the footage, I forgot to, make a point of it, but I did get the Gargoyle Tail Axe from that fight. But we beat him with the Hand Axe plus 5, the Spider Shield, the Brigand set, the Wolf Ring, Blue Tearstone Ring, and 1 sip of the Estus Flask, because we came with 9. And we beat him at level 29 with 22 vitality, 22 endurance, 21 strength, 9 dexterity, 11 resistance, and we beat him first try. And with that, we can go up and ring the first Bell of Awakening. And having done that, I went back because I wanted to get some Titanite shards, and I realized those are alluring skulls, which I decided to kill these enemies first so they don't stab us in the back. But I'm normally not a fan of consumable items, but I figured I don't really want to fight the boar right now, and I know that dogs are attracted to the alluring skulls, at least in Dark Souls 3. And dogs are animals, the boar is an animal, and the boar is weak to fire. So can we throw these into the fire to attract the boar? Which we can. And one didn't kill it, so we had to throw a second one. And it charged in and died. Which, again, I'm normally not a fan of consumable items, so I don't really look at them. And so that's something that I just kind of missed, because that's really smart level design by the developers to allow more variety in approaching this section. And that's something that I just missed the first 6 runs, because I don't look at consumable items, which is another reason why I like to go through these games several times, like multiple dozen, to find stuff like that. But here I was gonna go after the Capra Demon, which the Capra Demon is a decent jump in difficulty. Even though their stats aren't as good as, say, the Stray Demon, they're much harder than the Stray Demon. And so, this is a lot of numbers, so I'm not going to go through all of them, but just showing it just in case you care about that. But I decided to get the entire armor set up to +3 with the Titanite shards, just to have more defense going up against the Capra Demon. Because, again, they're difficult, especially with the 2 dogs, mostly because of the 2 dogs. And I had 2 extra Titanite shards, so I decided to upgrade the shield, because why not? An extra 2 stability. Now, I had 2 large Titanite shards, but I didn't want to use them on the armor, because I didn't want to have to go, like, after every boss, go, oh, the headpiece +3, oh, the chest piece +4, oh, the gauntlets +3, oh, the pants +4. I didn't want to do that. And I'd rather take lower defense. Like, I will take a lower defense for the ease of just saying Brigand set +3. I will absolutely do that. Now, take note, 10 Estus Flask, and I wanted to use the Alluring Skulls here to attract the dogs to make this easier, and having mentioned that, I will let this fight play itself out. Not the best, but we did it. We got the 6k, and we beat them with the hand axe +5, the spider shield +2, the brigand set +3, the wolf ring, the blue tier stone ring, and 3 sips of the Estus flask. And I bought 1 alluring skull from the undead merchant, so that's why I have 3. But I came in with 3, I tried to throw 1 down, I didn't realize at the time, but I got stunned out of it, so no. But beat him at level 29 with 22 vitality, 22 endurance, 21 strength, 9 dexterity, 11 resistance, and we beat him first try, and we got the demon great machete, which we can't use it, but it's good for moral support, so we take that. And coming down through the depths, we grab the large ember, which we didn't we had no use for it last run, so we skipped it entirely until the very end, but useful here for getting our weapon from +5 to +10. Now if you go down near the fire pyromancer guy, an enemy drops from above, and I wanted to see if I could see it from down here, because I wasn't entirely sure. But a little bit of looking around, and I saw the red eyes, which, nice little detail. And if you're very observant and slow and take a look around, you can see them. So that was nice. And going through the area, we pick up the great axe, because we can, which, here I came to a decision that I may change, may not, who knows. Right now this is the axe run. This is a great axe. And if you look, 32 strength requirement and 14 weight. That is a lot of strength, a lot of weight. Here's where I realized the gargoyle tail axe. But that is a lot of strength, a lot of weight. Which, if you look, this requires 32 strength. I don't even have 32 as my level, let alone my strength. I would have to, doing a great axe run, I would have to pour so many more levels into strength. Like, no. And because I have a rule of beating every single boss with with a weapon in whatever weapon class I'm doing, I would have to get through bare minimum, I think, like 2 or 3 bosses, maybe 4, just to get my hands on the great axe. And even then, I probably wouldn't have the stats to wield it. And I've already done that with the curved greatswords. And I figured, as extremely fun as the curved greatsword run was, I think 1 is enough. So, a decision I made here, again, I may change this, but a decision I made here was that, at least for right now, my plan is to go with the axe run here in New Game, and then on this same character going into New Game Plus, swap to great axes. And because I got stunned out of using the alluring skulls in the Capra Demon fight, I figured dogs, boars, both attracted to them, rats, they're all animals, they should be attracted to them as well, right? That didn't work out. It looks like the channeler may have been attracted to it, but I'm not sure. But thankfully all the rats came up and the channeler did not, so we could take out the rats without dealing with the magic. Which, the magic is the main problem. And with him alone, he easily fell. Which, I mean, I know this game too well. Which, thank you for the humanity, but I know this game too well. Another thing of knowing this game too well is we can come over here and get a large Titanite shard, which will be very useful for our weapon soon, whenever we go back and upgrade. But coming back to where we got the large ember, we can roll through these and drop down. And if we cross this little small section and go across the large section, ignoring the Giga Rat, we can get the Spider Shield, which we already got it as our starting class, but if we didn't, we can get it here. And I believe there's a third location where you can get it, along with a Brigand set, in Valley of Drakes, if I remember correctly. Now, I'm assuming that you can do a drop attack animation like with Asylum Demon and Tauros Demon, and that I just missed it. Whether there is and I missed it, whether there's not, and I just don't know, doesn't really matter. We took out the Goliath Rat. And sliding down, we can stay on the left side to avoid that whole lower section. And that allows us to immediately come over and grab the shortcut. Which, stuff like that is super, super satisfying to find. And part of the reason why I love learning things on my own instead of just looking things up. But before going to the boss, we come back and sit at the bonfire to be fully rested, full health, more Estus for the Gaping Dragon. And take note that we're coming with 5, and having said that, I will let this fight play itself out. I normally fight this boss near the end of the game because outside of the Blighttown key, which I know a better way to get there to Blighttown, outside of that and the 25k, there's no real reason to fight them, which is why I fought them so early here. Just to keep mixing it up for this run. But beating with the Hand Axe plus 5, Spider Shield plus 2, even though we didn't use it, Brigand set plus 3, Blue Tearstone Ring, Wolf Ring, and 2 sips of the Estus Flask. And we beat him at level 31 with 23 vitality, 22 endurance, 22 strength, 9 dexterity, 11 resistance, and we beat him first try. And at this point we were 57 minutes in to the edited version of this. So I wanted to do one more thing, which was get the Blighttown pop-up. And I figure that going down here and going down 1, maybe 2 ladders would get the pop-up for Blighttown. And I could end it on that. Which I thought wrong. But I was willing to keep going. But instead, this happened, which is Blighttown. It's Dark Souls 1. That's very fitting. So, yeah.